I'm at 7714 Forest Road, Cincinnati, Ohio, doing a sanitary lateral inspection for the purchase of a home. We're looking for any structural issues, mainly root intrusion, anything that would be concerning to the buyer. Our access is a clean out in the wall just as you enter the, right next to the light switch here in the downstairs bathroom. As you walk in, there's a PVC clean out. I'll show you. There's the light switch. There's the clean out. And there's the rest of the downstairs bathroom. So, it's a PVC clean out, but it goes into cast iron almost immediately. It does look like one of the toilets may be running upstairs slightly. You can see the water making its way through. This is cast iron under the floor, which is not a bad thing. Actually, looks like it changes over to clay right as soon as we turn, which is even better. The cast iron can cause more soft clogs than anything, just because of how rough it is. So it's actually a pretty good thing that under the floor in here it is clay. Clay is a pretty good material. It doesn't have, it doesn't disintegrate or rust. The major thing that we do see with clay is root intrusion, very common. So if there's any trees around, which obviously there is, hopefully not over top of it in the front yard. That's the most common thing, and it's usually because you'll have like at these seams like this, and this is all like the packing that's kind of bled through when the connections were made. But these clay lines are only about 3 feet in length, and so you'll have just a lot of situations where you'll have some stuff get through it. Over the years, the packing will kind of shrink up a little bit, and you'll have some root intrusion. It's a pretty hard turn right here. But it looks like, and I just want to mention too that water, the camera lens is only about a ½ inch off the bottom of the pipe. It's not a big issue or anything. A lot of this is just mineral deposits bleeding through in these connections. It looks like there's a top connection here, which is most likely a clean out. We'll see if we can check that out when we come back. It's like there's an offset here as the line is leaving. With some root intrusion here. End up having to try to put a standoff on this. It's not drastic. It's pretty common to have a little offset in a lot of these pipes as they turn down, but based off of the placement of it, my camera is kind of sitting. It's not going down the center, or the water would go pretty easily. Because it should go right on through. So looks like I'm going to have to probably. Oh, got it. That was about 44 feet. It does look like we have some root intrusion coming in through here. So I'll probably try to run some water as we go, enough to make sure that when we pull back I can see better. Like I mentioned earlier, there's some roots are very, very common. So usually what we'll do is we'll try to hopefully be able to see a little bit better as we pull back. I'm going to run some water down the stairs. See how long it takes to get down to that spot there. We're at about 60 feet. But it's pretty common on that end of it too, to not basically to get some stuff on the front of the camera as we push out, and then as it comes back, as we pull back, usually rinse the camera off, and then as we pull back, kind of you'll be able to, you won't have stuff building up in front of the camera, so usually you can see a lot better. Water showing up.
There was one over here that I caught. These are all the way.
Because I'm overturned, hard to get this moving as much as I'd like. So we had some root builder here also.
Yeah, because I talked to one where it was the biggest guy up over here.
See if you can get this to go to the spot there. Another spot where it's a small lip, but my camera's not going to be able to make it over top of it. I just can't get enough speed because we're out 85 feet. I'm going to actually pause the video here. I'm going to go see how far out I am and see if I can find another access point. Alright, well, I haven't been able to find any other access. I'm only out not even halfway down the front yard. And so I'm going to try to see if we can rinse the camera off right here, but it doesn't seem to get any, see, there's obviously a lot of root intrusion right here. A lot of root intrusion here at 83 feet. And so that spot, you would hope, you would think that my camera would make that jump, but I just don't have enough. I can't get enough speed. There's just a little bit of a lip there. You can see it making its way over. So, because of this, I really wish I could. It comes close, but will not make that jump. Just makes so many turns that I can't get enough force behind it. So you can see I pushed really hard right there. It goes slow. So I can pull back, but I'm going to try to see if I can find an access point there from somewhere else. I did see it early on when we got out into the clay. Hopefully that's not just a connection on the floor drain or something, that there's actually another clean out so that we can make a straight shot towards the street. But this all looks really good. It makes some weird turns, and that's kind of the issue. Based off of the placement of the lines, it did look like, you know, it's keeping out a lot of the roots, which is good. You can see all this stuff looks really good structurally. Wow. a little bit of roots right here. Not much, very small amount, about 50 feet. A tiny bit here. But, I mean, overall, based off of that large tree in the front, it's really doing a pretty good job of keeping the roots out. Getting a look at some of this. It's very, very light. And so, really, the line looks really good structurally, but we're going to have to try to find another access, like I mentioned. See, a little bit of roots down here. This is probably some of the worst right here that we've seen, and it's very, very light still. This is 45 feet. Most of that's there's spider webs on there too. Hopefully, coming through here, we can see some connection from the top. That's it right there. I'm going to pause the video sitting right here, and I'm going to get a locate and see if I can find an access point, since we're about halfway to that 83-foot mark that we made it to. And hopefully we will find the clean out. There's supposed to be a clean out about every 75 to 100 feet, but it kind of depends on the age and area of the home. So I'm going to pause the video again and go get a locate. Okay, well, it looks like we're underneath the garage floor, which is even more perplexing because that means they must have put in a clean out, or had a clean out, and they just concreted over it in the garage. So, you definitely see the connection, but for some reason, they just concreted over it, and there's no like indication on exactly where it is, but it is under the garage. All I can really do at this point is I will pull back and then I will try to put try to get my other smaller camera, which may or may not help. I have 200 feet on there at least. Maybe with water running I can get it to go out further. Maybe with a little ball in the end it'll help get through those spots, raising the camera head up a little bit, but we'll have to see what I have out there that might give me a little help getting on down the line. But so far, the line looked really good structurally, but I'm only about halfway through the line. So, and with no other access points, we're really limited as to our ability to inspect the entire line. So I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to go get my other camera and make some adjustments and see if we can get pushed through. Okay, so the switch cameras. So in the bottom left-hand corner, there's no longer a pitch indicator. This is a smaller camera, so it doesn't have quite the options on it. It still is a self-leveling camera, but hopefully this has a little more footage on it, but the line is smaller. So hopefully with the little ball that's on the end, with the water falling, hopefully we'll be able to make out the areas we need. Now we made it out to about 82 feet last time, and all we really saw was a little bit of root intrusion, nothing of any major concern, which is good. loosen. The only thing that's really needed is going to be a cleaning, it looks like. And here is that spot again. It's kind of frustrating that there's not some clean out there. I'll try to take a look at this area there. It's just some root intrusion there at about 42 feet. It's kind of heavy. This is the stuff that I don't get, is that all of a sudden it starts getting harder to push when you get around that last turn. Because it makes an S bend around there. This is where we have all the issues, is because hoping to have that water help, but you have so many weird turns. And here's another connection. I might be able to stop and see if there's a clean out there. Sometimes when we're going downhill like this, that little bit of water can help carry the camera. And the footage is a little bit different on this camera versus the other one. Spot with the roots, and hopefully, nope, I think we're stuck in the exact same spot. Very, very frustrating. We just can't get anything behind it. There's too many turns in the line. So I'm pushing in 4 different directions, and so by the time it gets out that far, it's not doing anything. So we'll see if maybe flushing the toilet and we get a little bit of extra flow. See if that helps push the camera through. Again, it's not helping get through. It's right there, but it's not doing anything to help. Because because of the way it's turning. It's catching on the roots and I can't get enough behind it to shoot it through. This is just frustrating. So now I'm going to go pull back to about 70 feet and see if that other connection means anything. And see if there's a clean out there. Usually, with all these turns, it's really frustrating. So we'll get back here to this spot right around in here. Let's see if we can get another locate. Now you see that line coming in from the top. It's right about in here. So I'm going to pause the video here. I'm going to try to get a locate. See if we can get past, or to see if we can find another access. Alright, so I poked around a little bit here and could not find any access, any clean out in that area. Could be a connection for a storm line or something, but we got it marked at the 82 foot mark where I couldn't pass, and then I've also got it marked there where it looks like there's a top connection. You can see it now in front of us, and I've got it marked there as a possible clean out, a buried clean out, but there's so many roots and stuff around there from that large tree that I didn't feel anything. I found a rock, but you can attempt to dig that up to find access, because without access to that, I don't think you're really going to make it all the way to the main. I think somewhere around in here was that other clean out. But I don't see it anywhere now. I'll try to push back forward and see if I can do that so I can possibly mark it, so that there's at least let's see, was that right in here somewhere? I want to say it was right around 60 feet, but the way that they've turned this thing so much, it just doesn't give me any opportunity to What was the last one that I located? It was right up here. Right there past this next turn. So, I'm going to recommend the line be cleaned, and then an attempt at another inspection be made. Right around in here, I swear. I thought I saw that other clean out. There it is right there. And that definitely looks like a clean out. So I'm going to mark this spot with a piece of duct tape on the floor. And maybe somebody could uncover this, because if they ever, to clean the roots, it's probably going to be better for them if they can get this opened up and take a look at this clean out and go from there. And then if it needs to be re-inspected, you're going to have a lot easier time going from here than trying to go through multiple turns and Once you get past this, there's 4 more turns, and so this would save a lot of effort, and it would also be a good thing to have because there's already roots in the line. They're always going to come back as long as those trees are there. There's permanent solutions for that, as far as you can have the whole thing lined or replaced, but in most cases the most common thing that people do is to just have it cleaned every now and then and use a chemical treatment to keep the roots from growing in. But at the 82-foot mark, as we saw, there's enough roots that where I can't get the camera behind it, and there's so many turns that I can't force my camera to poke through it. So I'm going to pause the video and locate this clean out. Okay, so this line is marked. It's definitely going to have to be cleaned either way, but this spot is marked, and we'll show you again where that clean out is. You can see right there on the very top of the screen, there is a connection there, and with a riser. It's 1'9" approximately to the bottom of the pipe, and but it's a garage floor, and so I don't know if somebody covered it or if there used to be a drain there, but it looks like this would be exactly where a clean out would be. It's just before it exits the house in the garage. I put a piece of duct tape with the depth marked on it and a note referring to it as a clean out. And this will need to be uncovered, and or the one outside. I think the one outside is actually just a downspout connection, but it is marked with a clean out question mark. I really think that is just a downspout connection where it comes down the hill and connects in. This is probably all combined through here based off the age, but it's hard telling. It doesn't have to be. With all that it seems kind of weird that they would do that based off the surroundings. But we're very limited as to our access points here, and with all the turns that I've gone through, like I've explained a couple times, there's just no way to get past it right now. That little bit of roots at 82 feet is keeping my camera from going any further. And so you can see we're back out of the clean out. And so I'm going to recommend kind of twofold. I'm going to recommend that either a clean out be uncovered or installed on the exterior, or uncovered in the garage. A cleaning be done to remove the roots that are getting down towards the flow line and preventing the camera from going any further. And it's kind of a mixture. Normally that amount of roots would not stop a camera, but because of how many turns are in there, because of how many turns are actually in there, that's where it basically takes all the strength, all the force out of the push because of all the turns. So it changes direction, and the force is going in other directions. And so by the time it diminishes so much, by the time I'm out that 82 feet, I can just get nothing behind it to poke through those roots. So yeah, I'm going to recommend a cleaning and an uncovering of that clean out to do the covering, or to do the cleaning, and then also a reinspection once a clean out is installed, or there's better access to be able to fully inspect the rest of this line, because it goes down to the hill, and we're maybe halfway through it, at least halfway to the curb, if that. And so there's a lot more line to be inspected. So, but we are again limited by our access and the situation, and so we really, you know, I've tried both cameras, and I'm unable to get any access to go any further. So that's going to end the inspection at 7714 Forest Road in Cincinnati, Ohio.